Hi everyone, my name is Elsa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do my January TBR. I'm so excited. I love my TBR game. I haven't done it in a while. I missed it. I'm back. So I have a new world with new rules and I'm going to introduce that to you. So, new year, new board, new rules. So I'm going to first talk to you about the rules, the usual rules, since it's been a long time since I done a TBR. And then I'm going to talk to you about the new rules for this year. So first, we are starting here and we have to go all the way here. And we have, these categories. Each one goes with this deck of cards and they all have specific prompts. So these are content prompts. So, you have to read the book with a heist or something like that. Then you have these. So these, let me remember, are for genre prompts. So, read a sci-fi book, read a fantasy book, something like that. Then we have these. So these ones are Goodreads generator. So they all belong to a genre and I have to pick at random on Goodreads something from this genre. Then we have these. They are author prompts. So read a book by a French author, an American author, a Japanese author, something like that. And finally we have these. So they are, I think, book prompts. So book prompts are a book over 500 pages, something like that. And finally we have these. So in this jar I have all the books I have to read that are sequels. So sequels to series I'm currently reading. And yeah, that's it. And so for the new rules now, we have these stairs. They only go up, they don't go down. And why is that? It's because I don't want to have too long TBR, because even though I read a lot of books every month, I like to be I'm a mood reader, so I like to pick books according to my mood and I don't want to have to follow a strict TBR. So this year we are only going to have 6 rolls every time and I have to reach the end by the end of the 6th roll. If I do reach the end, I can choose any book I want to read and I can buy a book. If I don't reach the end by the end of the 6th roll, what I'm going to do is read a sequel. So I have to read a sequel from a series I'm currently reading. It can be the sequel of a novel, in this case only 1 book, or a sequel to a manga series, and in this case it's 3 volumes of the manga series. So 1 book for the novels and 3 mangas for the manga series. I hope it was clear, and now we are going to start the game. So today we're going to be Bakugo from My Hero Academia, because this year I want to read more mangas, so I don't know, it was fitting. It's going to go here. First roll. So 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a genre prompt. Oh, read a horror book. It's just perfect. So I got a horror book. And so for this one I chose World War Z. I'm not sure you pronounce it this way in English, but that's the French pronunciation. We're going to stick with that. Sorry. So World War Z, I'm sorry. This I heard great things about, and especially about the audiobook, because I think it's a full cast and it sounds incredible, like with interviews, etc. And interviews with full cast is like one of my best audiobook formats, like Daisy Jones and the Six, Sleeping Giants, Fantastic Land. All 3 of them were among my favorite books of all time, and I think in part because the audiobook was so good. And since November I've been in a horror mood like crazy. I don't know what happened to me in December, but I read a lot of horror books and now that's the only thing I want to read. So I was so happy to have this prompt, and I'm so happy I have to read World War Z, because that's just one of the books I've been meaning to read this year and I just can't wait to dive into it. I really hope it's as good as I'm hoping it will be. Second roll. 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, Monsters and Sea. Let's see. Choose a classic on Goodreads with a number generator. So, as you've seen, I got this card. Classics weren't really on my mind right now, but it's the game. So I used the number generator on my classic shelf on Goodreads and I got Tempest by Shakespeare. I've seen the play maybe 10 years ago and I loved it, but to be honest I don't remember a single thing about it, except that I loved it years ago. And so I've been meaning to reread it well, actually read it because I've only seen it the first time. And so this one is the one I got, so I'm going to read it, and I'm actually quite happy about it. We'll see if I love it just as much this second time around. Third roll. 2. 1, 2. Hopefully we don't go down. Content prompt. Let's see. Oh, read a book that includes a topic of mental health. So I got a book about mental health. So for this one, I chose A List of Cages. It's a book that has been on my radar for so long. I'm dying to read it, and I've seen on Goodreads that it has mental health listed as one of the main things. So I'm not sure why, but it's listed on Goodreads. I'm going to trust it and count it as my mental health book. Fourth roll. We're close to the end. Can we do it? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, offer prompt. Let's see. A book written by a Pacific Islander or Australian author. So I got a book by a Pacific Islander or Australian author. This was easy because 2 of my favorite authors are Australian, and these people are Amy Kaufman and Kristoff. And they actually wrote one of my favorite series of all time, Illuminae, and I'm currently reading their other series, Aurora Rising, I think the name is. Anyway, I read the first book, I loved it, and I was planning on reading book 2 and 3 in the series this month, so this works out perfectly. And so I'm going to read the 2 volumes, like 2 and 3 this month. It's going to be so good. Fifth roll. 3. 1, 2, 3. Monsters again. Let's see. Choose a fantasy book on Goodreads with a number generator. So I had to pick a fantasy book on my Goodreads with a number generator. I used the number generator on my fantasy shelf on Goodreads, and I got, and I'm sure you're not going to believe me, but trust me, I didn't cheat, like, it happened, the gods were on my side. I got 9th Reign, and this worked perfectly because I actually have a book club with a few of my closest friends, and this was our pick for January. So I was going to read it anyway, but it worked out perfectly. Like I said, the gods were on my side. So I'm going to read 9th Reign. Alright, last roll, guys. I don't think we're going to make it, but let's roll anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4. Content prompt. So, read a book with mermaids. So I got mermaids. So for this one, I'm going to cheat a bit. Forgive me, but there's one series I'm dying to read. I talked about it in my December wrap-up, and it's Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. This is a manga series I'm obsessed about. So far, I've read the 5 first volumes, and I just love this series so much. And in this one, the main character, it's not a spoiler because it happens in the first chapter, is basically cursed by a mermaid. And when she touches water, our main character's skin turns to scales. And if she goes into water, like completely, she turns into a fish. And so because of that, I think, you know, mermaids, it works. And so I'm going to count that as my mermaid book. And so I'm going to read book 6, 7, and 8 in the series. And as you've seen, because I didn't complete, you know, the challenge, like I didn't reach the end, I have to read the sequel. And so I chose The Last Graduate, which is the sequel to Deadly Education, which is one of my favorite books of 2020. So I've been dying to read this one, but I want to reread Deadly Education first, and so I wanted to read them both, you know, like back to back. And I won't go into details, but so far, like between September and December, I wasn't in the right headspace. Like I wanted to be perfectly there to enjoy them to the maximum of my abilities. And so this month I'm going to have a lot of free time, and so I'm going to use that time to read these 2 books, like reread the first one and read the sequel. I'm just dying to read them both, so this is going to be amazing. So this TBR is just fantastic. So it's a great welcome back to the TBR game. I also have a lot of other books. Like I said, I have a lot of free time, so I might be able to squeeze these into it as well. So I also have Ship of Magic because I just finished the Farseer trilogy like in December, and I'm actually buddy reading the entire series with one of my best friends, and we decided to not go with the next books with Fitz, but with the next books in the publication order. And so Ship of Magic is our new book to buddy read together, and so we are going to read it in January, so I'm going to have to read it in January. So we have this one. I'm also currently rereading Harry Potter, and so in January I have to reread Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, so this is on my TBR as well, like has to. I'm also planning on reading The Bone Houses because I started it at the end of December and I'm into it, like I'm currently reading it and I'm loving it so far, so I'm going to finish it in January. I also received for Christmas a mount called Uwe, which is by Fredrik Backman, one of my favorite authors of all time. And so I can't wait to dive into it, so definitely on the January TBR. If I can, I'm also going to squeeze in Rogue Protocol and Jingo. So yeah, that's it for my TBR. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and see you around, guys.